is taken from a music theater piece composed by our director of music, Rip Jackson. Based on the teachings of Jesus, the piece is called The Beatitudes, a journey of compassion, justice, and love triumphant. The first piece is called Processional, and it is played by Rip Jackson. Thank you, Rip. As we begin our time together in community, I have a few announcements for us. On this Thursday evening, we will present the annual Howe Lecture, Let the People Pick the President. We are excited to present a dialogue between Jesse Wegman of the New York Times editorial staff and commentator Peter Fenn as they discuss Jesse's new book about the Electoral College. Please be sure to register for the Zoom link, or you can watch it on Facebook Live or on Lex Media. Thank you so much to all of you who attended the Lexington Interfaith Clergy Association fundraiser on Tuesday. Most importantly, we joined in community with the members of the MLK Church that was destroyed by arson, but is rising out of the ashes. But we also raised over $6,000. If you missed it, you could still access the recording on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. And I am sure that donations would be still most welcome. There will be a forum presented by the Climate Action Team after church next week on March the 7th. The program will be on the dangers of plastic in our lives. Did you know that plastic never really goes away? It's in absolutely everything, in the oceans, the air we breathe, the clothes we put on our backs, and the food we eat. Let's think together about how we can make some positive changes for our health and for our planet. This morning, I'd like to welcome our guest, Daria Gear, who is the Executive Director of the Waltham Alliance for Teaching, Community Organizing, and Housing. Our collection this morning will go to support their important and powerful work in assisting our neighbors during these critical times of need. Daria will be staying on this Zoom call after worship is over to engage with us all in conversation and to answer your questions about Watch. And perhaps you might even consider being a volunteer. Our call to worship this morning is written by Kimberly Carlson. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship. Our intro this morning is from Rip's musical on the Beatitudes. It is the song of the homeless woman, the one who does not experience the sense of community that we value so much within this congregation. Please open your hearts to Chelsea Cannon as she sings, "Nobody Seems to Care."
Hey, is there anyone listening to me? They've taken away my home. I've got no streets, looking for something to wear. These clothes aren't streets, looking for something to wear. These clothes aren't enough in the having a lousy day. You'll wish you were dead. I've still got my pride. Stay away from me, I said. I can't sleep at night. It's not safe anywhere, except in broad daylight. My God, this isn't fair, but the worst part is nobody seems to care. Hey, mister, don't look at me that way. I'm just a homeless woman having a lousy day. Nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to care.
We light our chalice this morning, as is our practice every Sunday morning. We see its light, and if we are close enough, we feel its warmth. Its warmth reaches but a few inches, its light a few yards. But if it is to reach farther, it is up to us to make it so. It could reach a child freezing in a trailer in Houston, a homeless man on the streets of our nation's capital, the daughter of a drug addict on a reservation in South Dakota, a baby in its mother's arms by the open oven in a house in West Virginia, a woman shivering at the corner of Main and Moody in Waltham, or a teen sheltering in a shed in a backyard in Lexington. It could reach that far if we chose to make it so. Look at this candle, look, and think about where it might reach. Our opening hymn this morning is "O Young and Fearless Prophet."
O young and fearless prophet of ancient Galilee, your life is still a summons to serve humanity, to make our thoughts and actions less prone to please the crowd, to stand with humble courage for truth which hearts unbound. Oh, help us stand unswerving against war's bloody way, where hate and lust and falsehoods hold back your holy sway. Forbid false love of country that turns us from your call, who lifts above the nation, the neighborhood of all. Create in us the splendor that draws when hearts are kind, that knows not race nor station as boundaries of the mind, that learns to value beauty in heart or mind or soul, and longs to see God's children as sacred, perfect, whole. Stir in us a protest against unneeded wealth, for some go starved and hungry who plead for work and health. Once more give us your challenge above our noisy day, and come to lead us forward along your holy way.
Let us now speak together the words of our affirmation of faith, that we may be reminded of how we will move through this world together. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Our reading this morning is from Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. She comes from those days when women had 3 or 4 names and they knew how to use them. Frances Harper was an African-American poet and novelist, and a member of both the Unitarian and African Methodist Episcopal churches in Philadelphia in the 19th century. This poem is called The Burden of All. We may sigh o'er the heavy burdens of the black, the brown, the white, but if we all clasped hands together, the burdens would be more light. How to solve life's saddest problems, its weariness, want, and woe, was answered by one who suffered in Palestine long ago. He gave from his heart this precept: to ease the burdens of men, as ye would that others do to you, do ye even so to them. Life's heavy, wearisome burdens will change to a gracious trust when men shall learn in the light of God to be merciful and just. Where war has sharpened his weapons and slavery masterful had, let white and black and brown unite to build the kingdom of God. And never attempt in madness to build a kingdom or state through greed of gold or lust of power on the crumbling stones of hate. The burdens will always be heavy, the sunshine fade into night, till mercy and justice shall cement the black, the brown, and the white. And earth shall answer with gladness the herald angels' refrain, when peace on earth, goodwill to men, was the burden of their strain. Now I'd like to introduce Daria Gear, the Executive Director of Watch. Daria.
Hi, good morning. So good to see you all. This is a great opportunity for me because I love going to church, but I'm so busy that I usually don't get to. So this is a special treat for me just to be in with the service and to hear the service as well. So my name is Daria. I'm the executive director of Watch CDC, and we're longtime partners with First Parish. So it's a pleasure to touch base again about our work. As you may know, we have 3 core programs: adult education, which the parishioners have been very much involved with as volunteers in our adult education program, which is teaching English, citizenship, and GED classes to low-income adults that need that support. Our other 2 key programs are community organizing, and our big campaign right now is to convert our abandoned armory into affordable housing. So we're excited about that project, but the biggest program right now is our tenant advocacy work, and that's the work I want to highlight today. As you know, the need is great for tenants right now who are suffering, and Genevieva Tavera, our community organizer, my colleague, probably can speak best to that. So I want to share a video that I recorded with her this week about what tenants are experiencing in Waltham.
Hello, my name is Genevieve Tavera, and I'm the community organizer for Watch CDC, a nonprofit based in Waltham. Since the pandemic a year ago, we had a lot of work to do. Basically, with all the hardworking people that live in our community that serve in the different industries like restaurants, hotels, supermarkets. And as you know, all these people have been severely affected by the pandemic because most of their places of work have been closed. So at Watch, we have been helping our community to get resources, to get food, to get rental assistance, fuel assistance, medicine, etc. The pandemic hit very hard in my community, and it is very hard to see families that they don't have sometimes hope. And I think our organization is in the business of giving hope, because sometimes there's not enough resources for people. We have resources thanks to a lot of people like you that help us, but it's never enough. It's never enough when I don't have anything to give, especially when one of my clients call and says, Genevieve, I've been getting out of my house. I work in construction, but all the projects are in standby. Nobody's paying me now. I used to be a provider for my family. I never had the need to put my wife to work. She was taking care of my kids. But now I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed, and I get out of the house and I drive very close. I park my car and I stay inside of my house in a freezing cold because I don't want to waste gas. And just because I want to show, I don't want to be in my house because I need to figure out things. And I don't want my kids saying that, I'm not doing anything, or I don't have a place to go and look for a job right now. So it's hard to understand when a father hides from his own family because they feel ashamed because they cannot bring a box of cereal, of the good cereal, not the cereal that they get in the food pantry to the house. So examples like this, stories like this are the ones that really move my heart and make me think, who else can help me? And that's why I'm asking you with this video to help us, to help us help the ones that they needed the most. Thank you.
We had a gathering in a few months ago where we just spent some time together virtually, and we had an opportunity to hear from a few of our ESL students and clients. And Maria is one of our tenants that spoke. And I'd like to share a video of her speaking and sharing her experience as a tenant in Waltham.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Saavedra, soy madre de 3 hijos, soy madre soltera, he vivido en Waltham por los últimos 18 años. El coronavirus me ha afectado a mí y a mi familia prácticamente mucho porque pues al solo ser yo la que aporte el dinero a la casa por en este momento y quedarme sin uno de mis trabajos, pues fue algo muy, ¿cómo les puedo explicar? Pues muy frustrante y pues noche de desvelo y todo por estar pensando cómo voy a pagar mi renta. Y han sido muchos desafíos prácticamente de siempre estar pensando y qué voy a hacer mañana si esto no comienza a trabajar otra vez, si mi trabajo no comienza otra vez de nuevo. Ha sido muchos desafíos tanto para emocional como económico también. Y también pues últimamente pues ya están mejorando las cosas para mí, pero fue hasta que yo llegué aquí a Watch que comencé a aprender de las ayudas que yo podía recibir, como por ejemplo para pagar mi renta, porque yo estaba atrasada 2 meses. Y pues ellos me ayudaron para llenar la aplicación y pude conseguir que me ayudaran a pagar mi renta. Y pues me gustaría que siempre Watch siguiera ayudando a las personas como yo, y pues las demás personas que necesiten alguna ayuda sería muy de mucha ayuda para todos. Si nos ayudamos unos a los otros y si la ciudad nos sigue proporcionando esa ayuda, pues sería mucho mejor para todos. Porque pues prácticamente uno aquí muchas veces vive del día a día y es muy desafiante tener que comprar comida, pagar los biles, pagar tu renta, y estas cosas pues no esperan, y desafortunadamente los dueños de casa no van a esperar tampoco. Muchas veces se tiene que escoger entre pagar renta o comprar comida para tus hijos, que fue mi caso muchas de las veces, y le agradezco mucho a todas las personas en general que me han ayudado de aquí de Watch. Y mi mensaje para toda la comunidad es que pues que no tengan miedo a pedir ayuda, que la ayuda está ahí, simplemente tenemos que buscarla y no tener miedo. Sé que a muchos nos paraliza el miedo, pero en este momento no es hora de tener miedo, es hora de unirnos y esperar pues que recibamos más apoyo de la ciudad. Y como les digo, nosotros tenemos que unirnos y pedir esa ayuda, porque si no hablamos, pues nadie nos va a escuchar. Creo que sería todo. Muchas gracias.
While most of us may not have felt what it's like to not have our basic needs met, we have all experienced some loss, some way of being completely blindsided. For some of us, it might have been a recent loss, or maybe it was just something really unexpected that just really kept you up at night and brought you really to your knees in terms of your ability to feel like you could handle it. And that's the feeling that our tenants have right now. And I think in that sense, we can relate personally to that emotional experience in some way from our own life. I'm trying to figure out a way to explain sort of the magnitude of what it's like in Waltham right now for our work. And I want to just say how it normally is and how it is now, and just paint a very sort of like a picture of that. I think that's the best way I can do it. So if you think about Waltham, if you're looking at it from a bird's eye view, it's sort of shaped kind of like Ohio, you know, like a funny shaped circle-ish kind of, there's a river running through it. And the bottom part is sort of like a bowl, or I guess a chalice, where there is the low income tenants that live in multi-unit housing, and just above the river, above Main Street as well. That sort of bottom half, they call the south side of Waltham, is where our office is and where most of our low-income tenants live. And if you were looking down and you could see all the houses like in satellite view, and say in any given month, there was a certain number of tenants that were behind on their rent and facing eviction and really struggling. And each one of those had a red flag, and you might see, you know, maybe 10 red flags in the whole map. And during those times, when those tenants come to us, they come to our office, we have a walk-in housing clinic, and we can sit down and spend an hour with them, hearing about their concerns. We can physically look them in the eye. We can offer them a touch, you know, some comfort, maybe a cup of tea, a glass of water, let their kids play with some toys we have while we listen, and we get their whole situation, and then we come up with a game plan. It's a very calm environment, and we are able to be at our best in a soothing, kind of affirming way to that person. And when they leave, they have that sense of hope, and we feel good that we have helped someone today. Right now, if you looked at that map, you would see red flags all over. We can't touch our clients, we can't see them, but we're doing our best to talk to them by phone and to take the time to listen and to meet their needs. But we are not meeting all of their needs because the whole map is red and we can't get to everybody. But we're doing our best, and we have been able to give of our own tenant assistance fund $320,000 in rental assistance and help with food, diapers, emergency housing, utility arrears. So that's through generous donations directly to our tenant assistance fund. So that was amazing. And also we've helping about 800 households in some way, shape or form right now, and tracking where they are. We've added 2 new bilingual staff people to try to talk to people on the phone, figure out their situation, see how we can help. We advocated and then helped people apply for $1 million in rental assistance from the city of Waltham. And we have also developed a contract with Metro Housing Boston to directly submit applications for rental assistance, which is now up to 10,000. So that's a great opportunity, and we've submitted about 150 applications. We currently have 75 that we hope to submit in the next 5 weeks. That's our goal, 15 a week, so that we can sort of get caught up with that bit of the work. Watch has also taken a lead in the community in having, first it was weekly, now it's bi-weekly meetings of the Waltham group. We started the Waltham Interagency Network, where we meet with and coordinate with all the other agencies working on housing and basic needs in Waltham. We share resources, plan events, and just generally exchange ideas and support each other. And then Watch has developed an online resource guide, which we continue to update daily or weekly, with all the places you can get food, all other kind of basic need supports. And we have that in English and Spanish. And then we produce a weekly food guide. And that weekly food guide goes to, it's posted on the City of Waltham website, which lists all the places you can get food each day and the times and locations, because we find people get overwhelmed in it. They just need to know, today, where can I get food? So that's the work we've been doing, and we appreciate all of your support. We have specific needs in terms of volunteers right now, both in our adult education Zoom classes as a teacher's aide or a volunteer teacher, or a one-on-one tutor with someone that wants to practice their English. Right now, in the next month or two, we also could use anyone that is Spanish speaking that might want to help with some of this casework, or anyone in data management that wants to help us track sort of our workflow with these clients and cases. So I wanted to close by sharing a hopeful video of one of our students who was also at this gathering we had a few months ago, Christian, who talked about feeling hopeful for the future.
Hi everyone, my name is Christian Gonzalez. I'm from Guatemala. I lived in Waltham for 2 years, and coronavirus did not affect us much because we have always been working. The challenge is to continue with the hope of getting by and working. And what helped me when the pandemic started, they asked if I needed food, and I said yes, and I received the essentials. I am grateful. They were always calling me to see if I needed anything. And I can't wait for the pandemic to end so we can return to our normal lives. And my message is, let's not lose hope and always be positive. And thank you to watch, and thank you for this time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a very resilient community, and that's one of the strengths that our immigrant residents bring to us is they are very resilient, and they show us how to do that and how to make and stretch every little bit of resources to help each other and to help their neighbors. So thank you for the opportunity to share our work and their needs with you.
Thank you, Daria. It's wonderful to hear about the great work that that you and Watch and others are doing for our neighbors in Waltham. At this time, we ask you to support the ongoing and vital work of Watch CDC in Waltham. Please give generously. You may donate using the information on the screen or in the chat. The offertory this morning is The Poor from Rip Jackson's Beatitudes.
Bless thee in thy way. You are the life and spirits who no one shall ever change what's true. I can see myself in you. Arrayed like one of these, a lily beauty's deep. You neither toil nor reap. You neither toil nor reap. And God your heart does keep. Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the poor, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Good morning. I'm Vanessa Bars. As part of the Stewardship Drive, which supports the life and mission of this church, I'm going to speak about my Soul Matters experience, which is the major way that I personally connect to First Parish. For the first 3 to 4 decades of my life, 100% of my mental energy was focused initially on academics and then on my work. After my 2 daughters were born, they and my husband became the primary focus, and 100% of this energy was focused on them. And the other 100% was focused on my work. Finally, as I approached age 60, I came to realize that my daughters were adults, they were independent now, and they'd successfully launched into the adult world. I didn't need to, and I should not devote so much of my mental energy to them. I also realized that my career had probably peaked. And so I began to think about what my life was about, what I wanted, what my values were, and whether I was living the life that I wanted to live. I had big questions that I wanted to think about and to talk to others about. So I did what many First Parish members do. I joined a potluck group. And that was great, but very good companionship, conversation, food and wine only goes so far. The next step in my spiritual journey was to join a Chalice group in 2011, which evolved into the current Soul Matters group. My Soul Matters group is a very important extension of the very small community of family and friends in which I reside. And I've come to care very deeply about each member of my group. When I first started with the group, I had some personal challenges in my life. And although it shouldn't have been a surprise, during the check-in process at the beginning of each meeting, I came to realize that I was not alone in having these challenges. And this helped me a great deal in putting them in perspective and not being dragged down by them. Each month, Soul Matters provides a menu of activities on a topic. I learn a lot about myself from these activities, and then I gain further personal insights by hearing about the varied experiences and insights of the other members of my group. I hope I help them as well. I love that the program is low pressure. Thank you, Debbie. I can come to a meeting having only read the handout, or I can try one or more of the activities in the handout, or I can spend really a lot of time pursuing the myriad links to additional resources such as videos that are provided in the handout. I'd like to end by telling you about a few of my favorite meetings. In the early days of Chalice Group, we sometimes picked our own topic for discussion. My Soul Matters mates will laugh, but one of my favorites was the evening we discussed the Holy Ghost, which for me is a very arcane theologic subject that I love talking about. Another favorite meeting was the night that we tried to answer the question, how would the world have evolved if Jesus had not been crucified? If he was able to go about his ministry without interference and die a natural death at the end of a long life? I'd never thought about this question, and it engendered a lively discussion. In more recent meetings, my two favorite topics have been joy and gratitude. Obviously, sharing the joys in our life is a very feel-good experience, but a great deal was also gained from listening to the members who also talked about the times when there was no joy, why this came about, how it felt, how they coped or didn't cope, and how they eventually emerged from it. My favorite topic, though, was gratitude. After the gratitude meeting, I began a gratitude journal on my computer. Every morning when I got to work, I thought about and wrote down what I was grateful for from the previous day. However, after a few months, I became frustrated and a bit annoyed because it seemed that what I was writing was the same stuff every day, and there wasn't much new to be grateful for. And then I had the obvious epiphany. I realized that there were so many things in my life to be grateful for, and they were consistently there for me, forming a solid foundation and a strong framework of my spiritual life. I didn't need more, I didn't want more. The journal helped me achieve a new level of peace and contentment, and it gave me a much more optimistic approach to life. So I'm Vanessa Bars, and that's the end of my Soul Matters story.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for sharing your experience of small group ministry here at First Parish. And thank you for articulating so beautifully your spiritual journey through that time. It is so important that we all are able to connect in small groups, to engage in learning, to see each other and to be seen. It is in these small groups that we feel safe enough to be vulnerable. We make connections which sustain us, even now, even in this pandemic. If any of you are looking for a small group in which to connect, please be in touch with me. If we don't have one which seems right for you yet, perhaps you can help me create something new. We've had such a journey this morning through learning about the work of Watch, learning about the connections that we make with the underpinning of knowing that we give to each other, we share what we can, and we have been affected and connected to each other. I invite you to listen to our anthem, The Good Samaritan, which is from Rip's music theater piece, The Beatitudes.
Who is your neighbor? Who do you have some compassion, who do you leave to die? Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Who is unworthy? Who is unholy? Who knows your neighbor? Who shall know eternal life? Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. All precious pearls, all precious pearls, we're in God's hands. We're in God's hands.
I invite you into a time of prayer, into a time of being in God's hands. As we move into this time, I lift up Joel Max, who is in the last stages of his life. Please pray for Joel and his wife Jane in this sacred and sorrowful time. May the love which never dies surround them both today and always. Our prayer today is by the Reverend Susan Milner. We pause this hour to remember those whom we have lost, those whom we fear losing, those from whom we are separated, those to whom we would extend a helping hand, a caring heart, the will to live. We pause this hour also to hope for life and good living, for love and kind words, for reconciliation, for the support of family and friends, for meaning in our struggle, for wholeness. May our memories and hope renew us for the days and nights to come. Amen. And now I invite you to share the joys and sorrows that are on your own heart. If you'd like to write them in the chat as Rip plays some meditative music for us, so that as we share our burdens, they are lightened. Thank you all for sharing of yourselves in this community. It is such an important thing that we are together and that we can share with each other what it is that we feel, what we're concerned about, what we rejoice about. These are the things that keep us connected. So blessed be. Our closing hymn is hymn number 128, For All That Is Our Life.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all that is a gift, which we are called to use, for build the common good, and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our praise, thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad.
Our benediction this morning is by John Morgan. In the end, it won't matter how much we have, but how generously we have given. It won't matter how much we know, but rather how well we live. And it won't matter how much we believe, but how deeply we love. Our postlude this morning is the loving duet from Rips the Beatitudes.